There's a hole in my dress. Boo! That's fine. Welcome back, Frill Nation, to another episode of OK Bloomer. Today I will be doing a sort of unboxing review for Atelier Pierrot and Physical Drop. So for those who don't know, Atelier Pierrot is one of the sort of long-running Japanese brands. They've been around for a very long time. They also have a sort of more men's style brand called Atelier Bows. And Physical Drop is actually run by Kato, who used to be the designer for Metamorphose. When she left Metamorphose, and that's something that I'll probably cover in a later video, she started her own company, called it Physical Drop, and kind of went back to doing her own sort of thing. She works a lot with commercially available fabrics, things like that, and just kind of does really comfortable, easy, effortless, relaxed designs. Atelier Pierrot definitely leans more on the gothic side of things. If you haven't watched Sophia Nygaard's video where she goes and tries on some Lolita outfits in Atelier Pierrot with the help of Rin, that sort of gives you an idea of their aesthetic. It's like the classic gothic Lolita. Beautiful stuff. And so the reason I'm reviewing it today is because Atelier Pierrot did a pre-order release back in, I want to say, March, for a plus-size version of their Nonette jumper skirt by Valet Lise. I'd been avoiding actually buying any of the plus-size releases, especially like Metamorphose, because they're not making the bodices any longer. Meta's bodices are still only about 8 inches long, which for me, that will barely clear my bust. So I've been kind of avoiding buying them because I already know it's not going to look good. I'm still going to have to do some sort of alteration to get it to look nice on me, as opposed to just making me look like a double stuffed cupcake. So I heard from the plus size community on Facebook that, hey, this release, the bodice is actually cut a little bit longer. It's cut roughly about 12 inches. And I thought, that's amazing. That's perfect for me. So I pre-ordered it along with 2 Physical Drop dresses because they looked really comfortable and I just wanted to try them out and see, and they said they would fall within my measurements. So the pre-order was slated to come out in July, and I just got the dresses last week. So I did open the box already just to make sure that they were all in there, but I haven't actually tried most of them on besides, okay, I did try one on, but not the other 2. I have not tried on Nonette, and I haven't tried on one of the Physical Drop dresses. I did try on the one just to see it because it was pretty cute. So what I did was to order from Atelier Pierrot. They had an option on their website through a company called World Shopping. So it's a shopping service, obviously, that will buy things for you overseas. And so I ordered 2 dresses and the Nonette. So it was around like $750 US, and World Shopping stacks a fee on that. They take roughly 10%. That's sort of their convenience fee. You do not have to do this. In fact, I don't think Atelier Pierrot even offers it anymore on the website. Like, I don't see any, usually would pop up like as a widget on the bottom of your phone. I don't see it anymore when I check their website. So I suspect they no longer do that, because you can just email Atelier Pierrot and tell them, hey, I'm overseas, I want to buy these items internationally, and they will work with you on it. So I should have just done that, but I don't know. I think it was like late at night and I was just like, I'll just do it this way because it's easier. But I would have saved like $80. And so definitely don't do it. Also, Atelier Pierrot will give you free international shipping if your order is over 20,000 yen or $200. So it's like one dress and you're there. It's freaking worth it. Don't bother with World Shopping. You don't need a shopping service. Just email them. Be polite and say, hey, I would like, and have links or specific information about the dresses. I recommend to just link them in the email or follow their directions for international shopping and say, these are what I want. How do we do this? And so it'll save you some money and it'll be a lot easier, and the money will go directly to them instead of having to kind of waffle through a shopping service. So anyway, the Physical Drop dresses were in stock, so those got shipped right away. But of course, Nonette was a pre-order, so they had to wait until that one was shipped to send everything out. And once it was all ready, then I had to pay for shipping, which I think was like 5,000 yen. I'll have to check. Alrighty, if I'd been smart and just ordered directly through Atelier Pierrot, I would have saved almost $200. And I should have just done that. You know, learn from my mistakes. Don't do that. Point is, dresses got here, safe and sound. I did try one on already just to see, and I will be discussing a little bit of the construction details and things like that, as well as trying on the other 2. So everything did come in a really nice bag that says Atelier Pierrot on the bottom. And you can see I've still got the 2 dresses in here. So the one dress that I've tried on already, I will bring on camera later. It was a It's a black cat print. Black Ribbon actually got a hold of that same material because it was commercially available and made some skirts out of it that she sold. And they had it in, they also carry it in pink, which they didn't have available. I would have ordered the pink probably, just because I like to have more contrast in my wardrobe. And I've also seen that there's a Japanese brand called, I believe, Rosalina Blue, that has it in a teal in a plus size jumper skirt, which I'm actually quite interested in ordering that in the future and trying it out and seeing how the fit is. And plus teal is like one of my favorite colors. Oh yeah, lots of crinkles. Not as bad as last time though. So here is, I love this color already. This is like a nice mauve color. And this is the physical drop. I think it was called like grass print jumper skirt or OP or whatever. Oh, the fabric's really nice and soft. It has a beautiful texture to it. Okay, and the bow is separate. So the bow is just pinned on. So that's kind of nice. You can remove it for washing. The other one is constructed a little different, the black cat dress. So I'll be going over that. It's got these nice belt loops. It's got these really pretty, it's sort of gray, and it's got little pops of like bright mustard yellow. This is actually a really pretty print. It's very neutral, it's very soft, it's very delicate and feminine. It's got a cute little puff sleeve. And I ordered this partially because it just looked comfortable. Like, it just looked comfy as hell. Like, I could just throw it on and go about my day. Especially because I do plan to attend the Neon Glass vampire dinner in October, which I'm pretty excited about. And I have plans with a couple of my other girlfriends that are going. We're going to explore the Chicago area the next day because we don't get to go to Chicago very often. And so I wanted something that I could kind of throw on and relax a little bit in and kind of goof around and go shopping. I find that it's really difficult to find Lolita fashion pieces that give you that sort of freedom of movement and range of movement and just feel like you could just slip it on and wear it out. I feel that, especially like over the top AP, things like that, it feels like formal wear, and so you sort of force yourself to take on a more formal approach to it. You hold yourself a little bit differently, you know, dress to the nines, etc. And I think just having more relaxed, more comfortable pieces that still kind of have that aesthetic. This is even a little bit cottagecore, I would say, to be honest. I think that is what will make it more wearable as a more frequent daily wear fashion. Probably not daily because I do work a day job and I have to wear a uniform. But, you know, just on the weekends, would I opt to slip this on over jeans and a t-shirt? This is just a beautiful pink color. Comes with a ribbon. Now, the black cat is the same cut. It also comes with a ribbon belt, and it was long enough that I could securely tie it and still have like some ribbon tails. So I was at probably roughly the max measurements for it, and I'll get into that in a bit. Overall, yeah, I think this is really, really pretty dress. And because the ribbon is detachable in the front, because it's detachable at the waist, that means I could just take that off, and I could probably throw this in my washing machine if I needed to clean it. Let me actually look and see if there's a care tag and look at some of the construction here on the inside, because there is construction. There's a couple of issues with the cat one. Okay, perfect. Beautifully constructed. Really just a simple cut. Nice lightweight fabric. Like, this would even be nice for like a spring meetup. The colors are sort of autumnal. You could wear this year round. It is a tiered skirt. And it is quite long, so it does hit below the knee on me, which I kind of like. This is super cute. I'm definitely going to try it on for you later. I'm excited about this. I could do a bunch of cuts like this, you know? So there is definitely a fabric difference. The pink dress feels very light, soft, almost kind of like a cotton lawn fabric, or a batiste, which is a really light, thin, ethereal fabric, very floaty, very comfortable. The cat fabric is, right off the bat, it's a lot thicker and a lot rougher. The bow is not on a pin. It's actually tied right onto the elastic in the front. I believe this is supposed to be the front, but it's weird if it is because there's a seam directly in the middle. Now, it's mostly gathered, so it's not that easy to tell, but it is weird too that there is literally a construction seam in the dead center. So maybe the bow is supposed to be worn at the back, sort of a cute back detail. I don't really know, because there are no garment labels telling you which is which, so you just gotta kind of wing it. And I mean, honestly, it's not like this has a dedicated front and back. But the bow also was kind of tied in the front, which, like, I really suspect that this was meant to be the front. But there's a big seam down the middle, so I don't want to seam in the middle, in the front. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. But it is a lot thicker of a material. It's a little bit heavier. It almost reminds me of, like, a canvas material, which I don't know if I'm super fond about. I don't know if I'm super happy with that, just because it's not terrible. Like, I've seen worse. I guess I'm just surprised. I was hoping it would be, if it was a lot more like the other dress, the pink dress, I would be a lot happier. The other major construction issue that I've noticed, and I say it's a construction issue, and I'm not sure if it's an actual issue or if it's just their choice, but there's no straight stitching in the sides. So when you sew a garment, there's a couple of machines that you can use. And so with woven fabrics, generally what you do is you will use a serger for all of your raw edges, and that's what makes all those funny little loops that you'll see at the edge of your woven material. And then you'll actually do a straight stitch on a sewing machine to actually join the fabric together. So the serger helps protect the material from fraying and coming apart with wear, which makes it more durable and wear longer. And then the straight stitch is what actually does the construction work and actually holds the material together. So on the pink dress, they've done what looks like a 3-stitch serge, so a 3-thread serge, and then a straight stitch on a machine. On the black cat dress, for some reason, and I was worried at first because I always worry about stressing the seams, they only serged it. Here, let me get up close and personal with you. So you can see, maybe. So you can see there's the serging, and it's just this little delicate light gray. And there's no straight stitching above it. It's just serging. And that's fine if you're doing a knit, but that's because it allows the fabric to kind of stretch and breathe. But this is a woven fabric. It's not stretchy. It's 100% cotton. So over time, as you can see, let's see if you can actually see that. So as you can see the gray threads from the serging. And so the seams aren't stressed, which is always something to worry about when you're plus size and you're putting on a dress, is stressing those seams. So this is not a stressed seam. The fabric is still holding its integrity, but you can see the stitches. And that's because of how the serger makes its stitch lines. So there really should have been a straight stitch along that to help reinforce that serging and to give it more support. That's kind of annoying. I might go in on my own machine and just do a little bit of sewing and just straight stitch real quick along those edges just to reinforce it, because I am at the max measurements. This is part of why I don't recommend wearing items where you stretch things out to the fullest, because the more and more you do that, where you are wearing something at its max, not only will the elastic start to break down, also the actual stress on the seams and things will start to break down, and over time you may actually start ripping out your dress. And there's no real fix for that except to re-sew the seam, and then the dress ends up a little bit smaller. And so you think, okay, well, I'm only sewing it 1/8 of an inch on the side to just take it in just that little bit. Okay, so 1/8 of an inch on the fold is 1/4 of an inch. And if you're doing that on both sides, that's a 1/2 inch total. So every time you have to do that, you're taking the dress in a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And you're just going to keep making the problems worse. And you're just going to shred that fabric over time. And it's just because the human body is more durable than woven fabric. So I'm a little surprised that there's no straight stitching like there is in the pink one. Let me pull that one out again. I also ended up adding, there's no like hanger loops, so I ended up adding those. So, I didn't focus any of that. I'm sorry. You'll live. So you can see, there you go. You can see there's your straight stitch and there's your serged edge. And you can see it's a lot narrower than it was on the cat fabric. So that's what leads me to believe that it's probably only a 2 or 3 thread stitch. Whereas on the cat dress, it may be a 4 thread stitch. It is more durable, but by the same token, you still need to give it that straight stitch to keep those fibers from just pulling apart and coming apart upon you. Let me reset my focus here. Sorry about that. There we go. Probably with that pink one, I am going to sew loops in. God, that is just... I'm kind of tempted to wear it next week. We have a little brunch next week. And I thought I was going to wear one dress, and now I'm super tempted to wear that one just because it's so friggin' comfy. We'll see. We'll see where the day takes me. But it is at a nice formal place, so it's like, should I just go for it? Now the star of the show. It is kind of nice. They put them in dress bags. So if you wanted, you could keep the dress bag, put it on a hanger. There's a hole in the top, as you can see. That's where my hand's going through. So you could keep it safe in your closet from getting dust and cat hair on it if you needed. However, if you do live in an extremely humid climate, I would not recommend keeping those bags because over time, the natural humidity in the air will collect under the bag. It'll collect on the fibers of the dress and it will start to mold. So do what's best for you. Oh, shit. Oh, bitch. I don't know why I liked this, but I did. It was partially, it would fit me, and it was because I guess I have a thing for red. I don't know, as you can tell, because I'm wearing red today. Oh, this is fancy AF. Queen, look at this, bitch. Let's get, yeah, just look at, oh god, this bitch is gonna need to be stained. Oh, yeah. It's rows of chiffon and tulle. Oh, no. And then it's got satin on the top. And I'm kind of laughing because for years it was always like, you can't wear satin in Lolita. It's not right. You can if you know what you're doing. That's the big difference. If you know what you're doing, you can. You shouldn't try to do cheap costume satin. You know, the kind that's $3 a yard that you would buy for your cosplays because you thought it was extra fancy, but you were also broke. But there's a lot of beautiful satin materials that you can get and use in Lolita fashion. Okay. Ooh, it's got a side zipper. That's nice. I love, too, that it's all red. It's all this deep, rich color. Burgundy. Because then you can coordinate it with anything. So I could coordinate this with black. I could coordinate this with white, with cream. That also would look good. Navy would look really cool. I don't know what I would wear with it that would be navy. I don't know. But you can... Ooh, pink would look really good with this, actually. Like a... Sort of the similar, like, mauve pink of the one dress. That would look really bitchin' with it, I think. So here's the back. The front lace-up is just ornamental. So this was something I'd been reading on the plus-size groups, is that this lacing, if you're at the max measurements, you're going to have to take the ribbon out and replace it with a much longer ribbon. And you're going to have most of the shirring exposed. So what I suspect they did was, instead of making this panel a lot wider, I think they just left it the same as the regular release, and they just enlarged the shirring panel. So that's a little bit concerning. But you can just go out and buy a ribbon. Like, ribbon's not that expensive. You can go to fucking Walmart, buy some ribbon. Who cares? So they do have these beautiful grommets. Y'all. My camera is not doing this justice because the color on this is just beautiful and the construction is so nice. I'm not a big fan of the satin ribbon anyway. It does make sense because the whole bodice is satin, but I would prefer it with the more of the grosgrain ribbon like a lot of brands use. It's actually not grosgrain. It's called Petersham. Either Petersham or Petersham. I'm going with Petersham because Petersham sounds weird. And I think that would look a little bit nicer, especially because they are already playing with textures with the satin, the chiffon, the lace, the tulle. And so I think a grosgrain ribbon would look a little bit nicer anyway, so I'll have to run out and buy some of that. They do have some extra buttonholes. So they have one higher and one lower. And that was another complaint that people had, is because of where the buttonholes are. Once you stretch this dress way out, they're going to be way off at the edge of your shoulders. So you may need to actually move the buttons in if you're near the max measurements, which I am near the max measurements. So what I actually have thought about doing is just removing the straps entirely and just wearing it as a bustier style dress. Especially because I plan on wearing it to the vampire dinner, and I think that would be good. I kind of want to do something a little bit more mature, almost a little bit Arrow Lolita. I regret nothing. We'll see. I haven't even tried it on yet, so that may change. I might also change out the front ribbon and put grosgrain there as well. We'll see. Because it can't be that hard to find a matching ribbon. Famous last words. But it can't be that hard. Yeah, I'm going to try these on. That's why I kind of kept my look kind of simple today, kind of fucking... This is more of a Dolly K look, isn't it? Ugh, what fools we are for fashion. I'm pretty hype about this. This is gorgeous. I really like it so far. I know what a couple girls are planning to do is they're going to get a similar material to the satin. Ooh, it's got some boning in there. That's going to get warped to shit fast. And they're going to enlarge this grommet panel in the back. So they're going to add on to it so that they can still get a grommet panel and kind of have that beautiful lace-up effect over the shearing. And that's cool. That's their choice. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I'm that worried about it. We're going to change my setup a little bit. I'm going to try these on for the camera. I might try and do an experimental cord with Nonette, and we will see what it looks like. Okay, so this is obviously the physical drop cat dress. I coordinated this with just a couple of simple items, my pink Metamorphose semicircular ribbon bag, as well as my Baby the Stars Shine Bright antique ribbon heels in black. Really cute dress. Probably should have ironed it. I am wearing a more traditional bra with this, which does not show. The sleeves, as you can see, are definitely kind of tight on my arms. I do have some chicken wing effect, as I believe they call it. Around the neck, I just added a simple ribbon as sort of a choker, just to kind of fill in that neck space a little bit. Now here is the other physical drop dress, the Kasumi Grass pattern. This one was a little bit trickier to coordinate. I paired it with the Angelic Pretty Pearl Heart bag, Lady Ribbon bag I think it's called, and some pink triple strap Indigo Road shoes in velveteen. I added a Puvathel Crystal Hearts necklace, but I think it was just a little bit too glam. I would like to try something different. I'd also like to add some sort of a belt with it, a different belt than the ribbon. And of course here is the Nonette dress. I threw on a quick black princess sleeve blouse with it because it just seemed like it needed a lot of that texture, a lot of the ruffles, just to kind of continue the idea of the ruffle through the dress itself. I only put one bobby pin in the hat, so that bitch did not want to stay on my fucking head. It was really annoying. That's a problem for a different time. This was just a quick try on. I tucked the straps in and actually used that fucking hat. Used a Puvathel brooch to sort of pin the top of the dress to my blouse so that it would kind of stay together because I didn't have any ribbon in the lace-up back to sort of help cinch the body in and keep the dress up on my body, which I've never really had that problem before of a dress being too big, so that felt pretty good. I also paired this with my Victorian Maiden regimental stripe bag in red and black. Not sure if it works with it. I like the idea, but not the execution. And black Indigo Road 3-strap shoes. Okay, so let's talk about sort of the pros and cons of each garment. The pink physical drop dress, the lawn dress. Honestly, no major complaints about it. The material's very soft. It is 100% cotton. That little bow being detachable in the front, that's very cute. It's got the straight stitching along the seams. Very lightweight, very comfortable. Overall, I'd give it like a 9.5 out of 10. And the reason I only give it a 9.5 is because the front does have a seam. There is a seam in the front. Why? I don't know. But I am also going to have to sew in some ribbon loops into the side seam. I've done that with the black cat dress, so that I can actually hang it up without running the risk of the weight of the fabric stretching out the elastic in the shoulders over time. It is a little bit long, and it does need a steam, but that's more like user issue rather than an integral part of the dress. So that's something that I can easily handle, obviously. Overall, so yeah, 9.5 out of 10, I would say overall. Just those couple little things, like it's weird that there's a seam in the front, like why isn't it just one long piece? I don't know. Yeah, just having to sew in the ribbon loops. Very minor things. Otherwise, it's really, really delicate, really light. I mean, I would wear it right now in summer, honestly. And maybe I would even pair it with an elasticized belt just to help cinch that waist in a little more, bring that waistline down a little bit. I think that would look really cute. Maybe get like a nice gray or something, something to play with. The black cat dress. So pros, again, also very comfortable, very cute, very simple cut, totally wearable, that 100% cotton. Love the little kitties on it. I don't have black cats. My cats are just like you know, domestic short hair. They're your basic bitch brown tabby. I love them. I mean, no one makes brown tabby prints. Come on, guys. Get it together. Represent. Otherwise, yeah, I really like it. I would give it an 8 out of 10 simply because of, again, the fabric quality, it being a little bit thicker, closer to almost like a canvas fabric. That still is kind of throwing me off. One of my girlfriends recommended to try and wash it in this washing machine with maybe a fabric softener. I may try that. Not having the straight stitching along the seams along with the serging, that was a weird choice. So that's something that I'm going to have to do on my own. Generally, when you buy things, you shouldn't have to alter them or fix them up. But it is just a fact of the universe that, yes, you may have to. So yeah, overall, I think it's an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for sure. It's still super cute. The shoulders, the sleeves are a little bit tight. That's okay. That's again, that's user error as opposed to an actual issue with the dress. Still weird that there's front seam, but it's minor like details that I think I only noticed because I do so much. So the Nonette dress, I think I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. I love the details. I love the construction. I love the playing with textures and sort of layering those up. It's got that asymmetrical hemline that it makes it a little tricky for petticoat. I wore my new A-line petticoat from Me Likes Tea. It's the rose A-line in black with 3 layers. So very simple petticoat with it, just to give it a little bit of volume. I would replace the lace up. It does need a lace up. As I was trying it on, I kind of noticed, you know, it does need to be cinched in a little bit to give it a better look. For me personally, I will never be able to wear it without a blouse or something underneath, because to have it actually sit nicely on my body, I have to basically have it like here on my bosom. So unless I'm going full like pirate wench, it's got to sit here. I do prefer it without the straps, so I think I'll just keep them tucked in. Or figure out something to do with them. I don't really want to have to sit and rip the whole dress apart, pop those straps out. I'd rather just figure out something else to do with them. Maybe I can even, you know, reconfigure them into a halter, because they're super short. So I unbuttoned them when I tried it on, just because otherwise it's pulling the whole thing up so that it's meant to sit here, but then it's super short again on my torso. So that is still an issue. It's still not cut for a bigger cup. It's still cut for a very cylindrical form. So that still isn't super great. However, it was roomy AF. I unzipped it and pulled it on, and I was having some issues just figuring out like how to cord it, like what blouse was going to work with it. The meta blouse is a slightly different color, which isn't really a problem, but I didn't like it with the Nonette. Like, I didn't like it altogether. It wasn't working for me visually. So I had to kind of ditch it at that point. So instead of actually just like taking the whole dress off, I just kind of shimmied it down to my waistline, and it was roomy enough to do that. So it was roomy enough for me to just kind of like pull it down and switch out the blouse and put on another one. So it's quite a roomy dress. So I will definitely give Atelier Pierrot that. It's very comfortable. It is hot because it is July and it's been kind of nice out, so we've been opening the windows like a couple of weirdos. It will be nice in the fall. It's super gothic. I love the texture. It does need a steam, just like the other dresses. That's fine. It is going to be a little bit tricky for me to coordinate. I think I kind of pulled it off with the princess sleeve blouse that I got from Night Whisper a while back, and then a black hat, add some red roses to it. I like that before I tried it on, I liked the idea of doing it with red fishnets and a red blouse and red shoes. Just do a complete red coordinate. I don't know what the Japanese word for red is.
Red in Japanese is aka.
Okay, so do like an aka Lolita coordinate, sort of like Kuro or Shiro, but all in red. I think I still want to kind of do that. Like, I want to find some red fishnets, or I might just stick with the red lace tights that I had just to give it a little texture. Something like that. I might make a red blouse in the same style as that Night Whisper one, because but then I need a red hat. Or I could just take the black hat and just cover it with red flowers. You see how these problems kind of compound on themselves, but I'm okay with coordinating it with black. I would also like to see it coordinated with white, but I feel like it is sort of tricky to find a good balance in terms of how to coordinate it, especially just because of where I have to wear it to get it to look good on my form. I have to have a blouse of some sort to provide that coverage. I can't just kind of not wear a blouse. It's still something I might play with. I definitely do want to wear it to the vampire dinner. I think it's dramatic enough. I think it's gothic enough. I think it'll look really cool. I might still play with it a little more. I do like the longer I sit here, the more I like the idea of doing black hat covered with some red flowers and the black 3-strap shoe I wore with it, the Jalen by Indigo Road. I like that idea. The purse I'm not sure about. That's a Victorian Maiden Regimental Stripe purse. I really love it. Don't know if it goes with it. I just grabbed it because it had all the colors in it. So I'm still working on the purse. Maybe I need a coffin purse with it. I don't, guys, if I can't keep buying purses. I can't. I have too many. I'm running out of space. It's getting rid on. I don't know. I would like to maybe try and do a red blouse with it. I think that would look really cool if I could get like a chiffon very similar in color to the red, and then just add the little pops with, hell, maybe even swap out the ribbon lace up in the front with a black ribbon. I don't know. Just kind of bring some of that black down into the rest of the dress, but definitely a red tight. I was feeling the black shoes. I was feeling them. I kind of liked it all together. It's still a work in progress. I got a few months. I got a little time before the event, so it's still something that I can kind of think about. Overall, would I recommend buying from Atelier Pierrot? Yes, I would. I would like to try some of their headpieces, actually. I wouldn't mind picking up a few of their head items. I would definitely be interested in that. Would I recommend trying physical drop items? Absolutely. If you want something that feels a little bit more laid back. Her pieces are very simple. She doesn't rely a lot on prints, things like that. Even though the 2 dresses I bought were printed dresses, she does rely more on commercially available fabrics. She does a lot more simple cuts. It feels very old school Lolita to me in a way. It feels very like OG Metamorphose, which makes sense because she was with them for so long. I found the dresses fairly comfortable. My arms are 17 inches at the bicep, so I don't know if I would recommend it. If you're more than that, at least the black cat dress, because it was a little bit tight, just a little bit. The pink dress, I love it. I love the color. I think it's really pretty. I would like to try more things with it. I didn't really have an appropriate necklace. I tried to look for a different one to wear with it because I do need just something small here just to fill in this space, but they were all my necklaces. You know how jewelry is when you hang up all your necklaces together and then when you're not watching them, they just form a giant fucking bolus of necklaces. So that's kind of what happened there. So the Pouvethel one didn't look bad with it, but it was almost too glam with the rest of the dress. Like everything else was sort of more, I want to say Regency, and I know it's not true Regency, but it felt a little bit more subdued, and then you just have, you know, this fucking bling out of nowhere. That's just because I was kind of struggling. Maybe I would do a similar sort of choker style thing that I did with the black cat. The black cat dress, I hate to say it. Oh god, I kind of want to get, I don't want to get cat ears. I don't want to get like furry cat ears. I want to get one of those like wire cat ear headbands because I think that would be cute with it. It's fine. It's fine. So maybe I would do that. I don't know. Overall, I'm fairly happy. The Nonette, I will try and wear it out. I think I need a little bit more time in it. I do need to add a ribbon to the back and get it kind of tight-laced to really see how I feel about it, how it kind of moves, things like that, just to kind of get an overall vibe for it. So I just need to try it on. I need to kind of test it out, play with it a little bit, but it is a lot of layers, y'all, and I sweat. I sweat like crazy. So if you liked this video, I hope it helped you out, gave you some ideas. Please like below. If you want to see more videos like this or see me return to my History of series, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm almost at 200 subscribers, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot, but that's also kind of nuts to me. So thank you everyone who has subscribed. I really appreciate your time and putting up with my crazy upload schedule, things like that. What dress was your favorite? Would you try Physical Drop? Would you try Atelier Pierrot? Would you try to track down the plus size Nonette? Do you think that more brands are going to start releasing plus size items? Or do you think they're going to kind of hold off? I know Meta's been sort of dominating lately. They've been doing multiple plus size releases and even some plus releases. I think that's very exciting for them. And I hope it kind of continues to be a trend where everyone sort of starts to slowly, at least, even if they only do 2 ranges, I think that would be better than nothing. So hopefully as it continues, Meta continues to see success doing that. I hope that Physical Drop continues to see success with Atelier Pierrot. I hope this release went very well for Atelier Pierrot. I just want to see the brands do well. That's all I want. So like and subscribe. If you have any questions or if you have any thoughts about any of the coordinates I shared today, please leave them down below. I would love to hear what you think, what would work with the Nonette, what wouldn't. Nonette. Is it Nonette or Nonette? I don't know. It's fine. Whatever you think I could do differently, maybe try a little bit different. I would love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, please stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, and take care. Fucking dirndl K here.